Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and there is a new release over at the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray shop, and we are going to use it to make something that I haven't made in quite a while. Let's go. All right, so Kelly Bangs has released a new mini devotional called Relationship Goals, and I am so excited to dig into this devotional. I think it's going to be great. I usually really enjoy what Kelly has to offer. And so you have the devotional. Then, of course, she's Kelly. So there are some gorgeous pieces that go along with the devotional. Here are some coordinating papers. And if you will notice, they are in a gorgeous rainbow order. Like, are you kidding me with all this hearts and love? Perfect for Valentine's Day. And again, the great thing about printables is that you can print them over and over and over and over again. So these are like Valentine's waiting to happen. Those are the digital papers. And then, of course, there are also a ton of other goodies that go along with the devotional. I've already printed them out using my Cricut, but you have a bunch of ampersands that you can pick up. You have labels, rainbow labels in all the colors. So helpful in your craft room. I love me some labels. These gorgeous words, I actually printed them on glitter sticker paper because I thought, why not? That sounds like fun. So that was something I wanted to include. And then I also have some glitter sticker paper or glitter cardstock that I used to print out some of the other pieces. There are some tickets. There's just some great things as part of this devotional. Check it out. Check out the devotional and all of the coordinating goodies over at the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray shop. I will link down below. I always get questions on what I print on. I actually use 3 different kinds of paper to print on today. I used regular cardstock. I used bright white 30-pound paper, and then I used glitter cardstock, all printable with an inkjet printer. I will link those in the comments down below. I want to create a tag ring. I haven't made a tag ring in a long time, so I'm excited to work on that today. I will put you guys on fast forward. Let's go. First things first, I'm going to cut out all of the pages of this devotional. A couple reasons why I decided to make it a tag ring. First of all, I happen to really like tag rings. I think they're fun to make. I think they're fun to put together. I think they're fun to work with. They work really well as presents. So if you were putting together this little devotional kit for a friend, that would be awesome. Another way that I have used them in the past that I've really enjoyed is putting together a tag ring, and then I literally will leave it in the middle of our dining room table where we have meals, usually together in the mornings and evenings, depending on kids' activities. And I like having them there because they are good conversation starters. We can go through devotionals as a family. This one is actually a really nice one because it relates how you feel about friends or things that you look for in your friends and in your relationships, and how God would react in the same way. And so I think it's actually a pretty good one to do as a family. And so you could read it in the morning and talk through it. It's kind of a nice little opportunity. And because it's colorful and eye-catching, it catches the eyes of my kids. So all the better. Now that I've cut out all of the pieces, what I'm going to do is put the front of the cards, the tags, I'm going to put them with the colored pattern paper on the back. So my plan is that the backs of the cards can be where I take notes, where I have extra ephemera and things like that. And so I'm just creating a base of all of these beautiful patterns. It works out perfectly. 2 cards for each paper, and then you have a little extra paper left over to do some embellishments and things like that if you're interested. I like changing it up. It's fun to use all the different colored papers. And like I said, with these devotionals, when they're in the print and pray shop, when you can use printables and have them to print over and over again, you don't have to worry about hoarding your supplies, which is something that definitely comes up for me from time to time, especially with beautiful papers, because sometimes you don't know if you'll be able to get that paper again and you want to save it for just the perfect project. You guys know it. Let me know in the comments below. Like, drop me a heart or something like that if you are a paper hoarder like me. Having these printables, though, helps me get over that fear. All right, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to do the hole. I do want it in the middle, but I wanted to look at one of the cards that had the actual devotional on it, had writing on it, to make sure I wasn't going to be um, punching a hole over writing, because I want to be able to read all the words. So then I just use the cards as templates and add holes to all of them so that I can put them together on a ring. The ring I end up using is actually from Illustrated Faith. It was released, oh, I don't know, maybe a few kids ago. They have some fun products in their shop that are just great to have on hand. And these are adorable colored rings. They are like the Kelly Bangs colors. So it's a good idea to have them on hand, because if you like Kelly Bangs, she uses the same colors, which is one of the reasons I love her. All of her things go together so well. So I have that beautiful yellow piece. And now it's time to decide what I want to have around, like how I want to do all the other things. So I'm kind of separating the pieces. I have a bunch of labels, I have a bunch of ampersands, I have the glitter words, those will all go together, and then I have the glitter pieces, like the other ephemera pieces. So I'm kind of loosely sorting them out just to see what I have. It's a good idea when you're doing a project like this. I like to do tag rings. I like to do the whole thing all at once. So I do most of the decorating, put it all together all at once. So then when I'm ready to sit down and study, it's all ready to go. Could I keep adding things as I go? Of course, that's one of the beauties of the tag ring. All right, so I wanted these words to be a part of the tag ring. So here's what I decided to do. I'm folding the labels in half. I'm adding adhesive to the back, folding in half, and then I'm going to attach it, just use adhesive to put it on the edge of these words like so. So now they have a little tab. I'm basically using the labels as a tab, which I thought was adorable. And then look, you can just put them on your ring so they hang off, and I think they're so cute. So I'm going to use that for all of the words, because I put relationship goals hanging red at the front because that's the title. And then I'm just going to hang the other words throughout. I can adjust them and move them as I study when I feel like they have a more appropriate place. But how fun to use the labels as little tags that I can punch a hole through and then put it on my tag ring. That's one of the fun challenges of creating a tag ring too, is figuring out how you can attach all the different things. So I didn't want to punch holes directly in the words, that didn't really have a spot where I could do that, but adding the tag helped me out a lot. Now, there's lots of fun ways you could work through this devotional. You could cut out the pages and then put them together in a traveler's notebook, which I know a lot of people really like to do. Of course, I've been putting things in my faith planner a lot. So I would probably, if I were doing this in my faith planner, I would do one card per page, leave a little room for decoration, leave some room for notes, and then call it a day, and it would all be in there. I just thought it would be fun to change it up a little bit and add all of the cards to a tag ring. What I do when I study, I pull these out in the morning and I'll read and take notes. And then I actually have a very cute pegboard where I keep all of my tag rings, a lot of which are Kelly Bangs designed pieces, and I have a cute pegboard that displays all of them. So I like having these hanging up in my room afterwards. If you're wondering, what do I do with these pegboards? Now, time for a little decorating. I have these adorable cards. These are also from Illustrated Faith. They were released with the Worthy of Worship devotional. I haven't checked to see if they're still in the shop, but you can always check the Illustrated Faith main shop with the physical products. I thought these were so cute because they're just not your classic grid. They have some different colors to them, some different lines to them. So I'm going to put a card, one of these journaling cards, on the back of each of the tags. And then I'm doing some ampersands, a little ticket item, and then I'm using a label. And my thought was, on the label, I could either do a date, like stamp the date of when I'm studying that particular card, or I could write out a scripture reference. There's all kinds of ways I could do it. Like I said, I like to put a lot of the kits together, a lot of these tag rings, things like this. I do a lot of the artwork, the prep work in advance, so that when I sit down to study, I get up early in the morning, usually around 5, to sit down and do some Bible study before the kids get up. And I don't want to really mess with artwork at that point. So I prep everything in advance. And now this will just be ready for me to add notes and things like that. Now let's talk for a second how I decided what parts of the devotional plus the extras, how I decided to print it out on what papers, how that all worked. So I thought about how I was going to use it. I knew the devotional cards I was going to create tags with. So it would have made sense for me to print those out on cardstock. However, I pre-planned that I was going to back them with another sheet of paper that would be that patterned paper. So I knew it would have a little bulk to it already. So using cardstock on both of those just wasn't necessary. So it worked really well for me to just use my 30-pound bright white paper, which is kind of my go-to for most of the printables. Then, as I was looking at the other pieces, normally I would print them out on sticker paper because I'm using them in my Bible or in my faith planner. However, knowing I was going to do a tag ring, I thought it would be fun to give it just a little something extra, which is why I used that printable glitter paper. That is so fun, you guys. And if you have a Bright Fun kit, it's nice to have that extra texture just kind of automatically in there. So I decided to print anything that looked like it was ephemera, graphics. I thought the words, the big titles would be perfect in those. And then with the labels and the tickets, I went with cardstock, knowing I wanted it to have a little bit of bulk. I didn't know in advance if I was going to have things sticking off of the tags or if everything would be contained in the tags, if that makes sense. Sometimes I do tags that are overflowing and there's all kinds of shapes and papers that hang off. And in that case, I definitely wanted to have these using cardstock so that it would hold up. I didn't want floppy paper in that case. However, I ended up putting them all on within the borders of the tag. So I could have just used regular paper. However, it's always nice to have cardstock. So I kind of think through how I'm going to use the different elements before I start printing and cutting and all of that. It takes a little while to do the cutting, to use this on your Cricut. I love that Kelly gives us the PNG files like all ready to go. So she saves you that time, but it does take time to do all the printing and the cutting. So you want to think through it so that you don't have to do it multiple times if you don't want to. Because I was following a pattern or a formula for each of the cards, it actually came together really quickly once I started decorating the backs. I do have a few pieces left over that I can use either to add to these cards. I could put them in my faith planner. There's all kinds of ways I could use them. So I don't regret cutting them all out or having them cut all out. But I do like how it came together pretty quickly. The last thing I'm going to end up doing is adding a little bit of embellishment on the front title card just because I was in the midst of cleaning things up and I noticed a couple of tickets that I thought looked super cute together. So you can see I have all my cards, they're all ready to go. It's super cute, but as I'm gathering up, I'm like, oh my goodness, these two colors, so cute. And I decided, I'm gonna go ahead and put those tickets down. There's a big white space, why not? Why not add that in? So I'll do that and then go into my ribbon stash and look for some little frilly ribbons I can add to my rings because that is always fun to do as well. I definitely have a lot of different colors of ribbon, just scraps in my stash, and a lot of them come from Michael's. They come from different times I've exchanged ribbons with friends. It's just, I like to have a lot of different color options. So I'll add 3 colors on here, the kind of golden color, the pink, and then a bright blue that matches well with the kit. And then my tag ring will be done. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I will link all of the supplies that I used down below, including all of the printing details and this awesome set from Kelly Bangs over at the Illustrated Faith Print and Praise Shop. All of those will be in the description box of this video. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. We're having a fabulous time. The month of February in Patreon, we are going to be focusing on working on our hand lettering skills. So there's going to be all kinds of bonuses and exclusives over there, all about hand lettering. So if you want to join us, be sure to find the link to my Patreon in the description box below as well. All right. I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.